Namaste. My name is Master Coach Yu, and my spiritual journey of awakening began in 1977, such a long time ago, when I was 25 years old. That's when I began deep diving into the my wounded in a child's incarnational curriculum. During these decades, I gave away what I most needed to learn and heal, and it's my hope that this information that I'm sharing, you'll emotionalize it. It's core lessons that took decades to work out, clinically test and measure. So you can help yourself first, of course, and then your clients create the self-mastery life skills needed to feel safe, sane, and secure in the world. So again, the title of this video is Boundary Mastery Basics in a Nutshell. Boundary mastery is one of the most important skills needed to live a self-empowered life, because if you've never learned how to maturely protect your boundaries, you'll use childlike ego defenses. And immature ego defenses will challenge even the most committed relationship. The fastest way to develop healthy boundaries is to learn how to communicate your feelings in an emotionally mature way. So what are these things? Well, healthy boundaries are limits that promote integrity. Healthy boundaries require a conscious awareness of the distinction between you and the people whom you share your life with, as opposed to being enmeshed with them, over-connected with them. There are two types of boundaries. Physical, right, such as your skin and the invisible 3-foot zone around where your body is. And of course, emotional, or what we call psycho-spiritual boundaries. Boundaries protect you and make you feel safe. Metaphorically speaking, when you get a scratch, that scratch what? It breaches the barrier of your skin, so you become vulnerable to infection. And when your emotional boundaries are breached, you also become vulnerable to harm. When someone trespasses your boundaries by thoughtless or intrusive actions, these actions are called boundary violations. And there are two types of boundary violations: violations of intrusion and violations of emotional distance. Let's start with violations of intrusion. They happen when a person is either verbally, sexually, or physically abused. A good example of a verbal violation of intrusion is if you met a stranger while you were shopping or something, and somebody you never met before comes right up to you and says, "What's your favorite sexual position?" Then we have violations of emotional distance, which occur when emotional intimacy is less than what is appropriate for that relationship. Emotional distance is harmful, especially with children. So think of children and when you were a child. A child has the right to expect closeness and emotional intimacy from their caretakers. So when it's excessively removed or cut off, it hurts the child and it becomes emotionally harmful. For example, when you were a child, if your parents only talked to you to give you orders or to reprimand you, this would be a violation of emotional distance. A child needs, now that could be your inner child or a real child, right? But that child needs hugs, affection, and emotional, intimate conversations from their parents, co-workers, friends, whatever, if they're adults, in order to feel safe and secure in the world. Violations of emotional distance are difficult. See, that's the key word here. When I'm working with clients, they don't realize how difficult it is to validate these kinds of wounds. And it's for one reason only. It was what wasn't done to you. What wasn't done to you. Kind of hard to get a label on that. See, if you were abused, let's say you were slapped a lot, you might be angry about it, but it's there. But what wasn't done to you is much more invisible. So here's a short list of a few boundary mastery truisms. Just a short list. Weak boundaries equal a weak self-image. Healthy, strong boundaries supports the development of a healthy self-image. A person who does not a person who does not know how to maturely protect their boundaries will resort to using, like I mentioned before, childlike ego defense mechanisms, like withdrawal, enmeshment, or verbal abuse in an attempt to defend themselves. Boundary masteries can be tricky, though, because we wear so many different kinds of identities with people, right, that we're close with. So you have a different, it's not exactly the same with your friends, with your siblings, with your children, with your teachers, employers, coworkers, and so on and so forth. And so there's a level of skill set to protect your boundaries to the right degree, to the right person, in the right manner, in the right way. But often it's hard to judge what is and what is not appropriate when it comes to boundary behavior, because what is needed in the training of yourself and then your clients is that boundaries have to be flexible yet firm. Remember, boundary mastery is like karate. Karate. The more you consciously protect your boundaries as an emotionally mature adult, the better you'll get at it. Practice, practice, practice. How do you get the Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. In the next video, I will share with you the 3 core elements needed to protect your boundaries. If you resonated with what I shared today, my spiritual life coaching school, Holistic Learning Center, has a free transformational course where you can experience clinically proven psycho-spiritual coaching exercises like the ones we discussed here that I've been working on with my staff since 1993. Or you can call 888-HLC-0878 or just visit the website at www.holisticlearningcenter.com. Namaste.